Whew, let's go. I'm telling you what, my number 5 quarterback here, my 5th guy I have ranked, it's probably the most excited I am about making any of the videos. Out of all the 9 quarterbacks I'm making videos of, I think I'm most excited about this one because it's not a person that a lot of people are talking about. In fact, he's just now starting to get considered like a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and that baffles me because let me tell you, this dude is worth my money, okay? Pretty much any positive situation he gets put into, he's going to be worth my money. I'm so excited about it, except for Trevor Lawrence. He has the most lopsided list of pros and cons that I have out of all of these evaluations. I'm excited about this guy. I have him ranked in my top 5 for an absolute reason. I think his draft stock has been going up, and I think it's going to continue to go up all the way into the draft. You want your team to draft Kellen Mond. Coming out of Texas A&M, playing for Coach Jimbo Fisher, he's surrounded by good competition. He's surrounded by excellent coaching. He's been surrounded by good athletes. He has the pathway to an NFL future. But what he did on the field sets him so special above, a lot of these other guys we've been talking about. I have him at 7th in my overall stat ranking. However, what he ranks best in, I think, translates to the NFL best, and that is sacks per attempt. He's number 1 in sacks per attempt, meaning that he took, compared to his passing attempts, he took the least amount of sacks. The dude threw the ball 297 times and only took 7 sacks in an SEC schedule. All right, that's a lot of heat coming at you around the end, up the middle, blitzes, this, that, and the other. He only took 7 sacks. That's incredible to me. Overall, Texas A&M had the 8th toughest schedule in all of FBS. He's 4th in touchdown to interception ratio. The guy threw 19 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. Again, he threw the ball 297 times and only threw 3 interceptions. That's 1%. 1% of his throws got picked off. That's incredible. He protects the ball, he doesn't turn it over, and he doesn't get sacked. What else could you want in an NFL prospect? I'm extremely high on Kellen Mond for these reasons, and there's a lot more reasons to be excited, let me tell you. He played in 47 games in college. 47. He started 44 of those. In those 47 games, 8 of them were against nationally ranked teams. Overall, he went 32-15. And for Texas A&M in that tough SEC schedule, that's really nothing to shake your head at all. That's pretty good. Last year, he threw 3 touchdowns against Alabama and Florida. He's extremely athletic. He's a great runner. He's got a strong arm. Jimbo Fisher endorses him to the moon. He's best in the quick game, almost like a game manager style, but he does have the arm to make all of the other throws. He ended up starting as a true freshman, but looking at stats and just eyeball test, he got significantly better every year. When you're talking about developing a quarterback from the college level to the NFL level, he's had every ounce of development go right. It seems like this guy came in as a freshman with potential, and they got the most out of Kellen Mond. That's beautiful to see. Something I love to see, too, when I'm looking at guys that started multiple years, is I like to look at one of their worst games and see how they progressed. When we look at Auburn, his freshman year, he completed 45% of his passes. Came back as a sophomore and completed 50% of his passes. Not impressive. Both of those pretty tough. He comes back his junior year and completes 63% of his passes. Good, that's right on par. Comes back his senior year, completes 78% of his passes. Well done, Kellen Mond. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to get better every single year. He proved that against Auburn as well as other schools. There is kind of an opposite effect, and then when we talk about his floor, the opposite happened against LSU. In 2018, he completed 46% against LSU. Terrible. In 2019, he completed 33% of his passes against LSU and threw 3 picks. Terrible. That team was one of the best college teams we've ever seen, but still, that's bad. He comes back this year. He only completes 32% against LSU. Terrible game. And again, that's the floor. He struggled against LSU. When we look at the cons of Kellen Mond, outside of those terrible games against LSU, you see a lot of people talk about mechanics. Oh, his footwork needs to improve. He needs to improve these mechanics. And those are all valid, right? NFL scouts know more than me. I'm not saying they don't. But just like as a previous quarterback myself, as well as looking at just, the mechanics that do go along with good NFL quarterbacks. Guys, Phillip Rivers has some of the worst mechanics that I've ever seen. When I do quarterback camps and I'm coaching young guys, I say, hey, listen, do, high elbow, follow through throws. Do what you see NFL quarterbacks do, except for Phillip Rivers. Forget Phillip Rivers. Don't do what Phillip Rivers does. But he made it work for so long in the NFL. People were talking about him being in the Hall of Fame. Matt Stafford doesn't have great mechanics. He's got a strong arm. He's got a great QB brain, but doesn't have great mechanics. We look at Tom Brady, he's literally changed his mechanics multiple times throughout his career to adhere to the game. Kellen Mond is an intelligent dude. I don't see him getting in the NFL and saying, nope, I'm sticking with these mechanics forever. Like, that's not going to happen. His NFL teams are going to work with him. They're going to find, some adjustments that need to be made. They're going to say, you know what, this doesn't matter. Keep doing you here. So when I see somebody, their only cons are mechanics, to me, it just doesn't, unless they're really terrible, like a long release. Like, as much as I love Tim Tebow, he had that super long release. It took too long. Like, that was a mechanic you couldn't shake out of. I don't see anything that Kellen Mond has as being something that can't be worked through or overcome. When I look at the ceiling in terms of a single game, he completed 71% and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions against number 4 ranked Florida this year. Like, that's a great game against a great team. Also, in this year, this is when, I think this was the first stat where I was like, holy cow, Kellen Mond, in his SEC schedule, he completed around 80% of his passes 3 times last year. In the 2020 season against an SEC schedule, he completed 80% of his passes 3 times. Baffling. He's a pro system QB who has developed a team before. His freshman year, Texas A&M, irrelevant. He led them to relevancy. No, they didn't do anything crazy. They didn't make a run for a conference championship or anything like that, but they became relevant. Texas A&M was a problem against some of these big-time schools. Whether they got the wins or not against those big schools, sometimes it didn't happen, but it wasn't on Kellen Mond's back. He had a great season for Texas A&M, and, Jimbo Fisher had a lot to do with that as well. But Jimbo Fisher, again, raves about his guy. He's very intelligent. He's a pro system quarterback. He's a leader. He's a winner. And he doesn't just do it through the air. This guy had 22 rushing touchdowns, second only to Sam Ehlinger. Like, he's a fantastic runner, 1,600 yards, I believe it was, last season on the ground. He's battle-tested. He's ready. I think Kellen Mond is an NFL-ready quarterback. He's not somebody that you need to develop for multiple years. Some of the comparisons that get thrown around are guys that I think are way too low down the road. I think Mitchell Trubisky with a better completion percentage is a comparison that I would have for Kellen Mond. I don't see anybody saying, "Oh, I wish I could draft Mitchell Trubisky." I understand that, but in terms of talking about the fact that Mitchell Trubisky was one of those top picks and Kellen Mond's being talked about in the 2nd or 3rd round, I think if he gets a good fit. I think Mitchell Trubisky could have been successful with a better fit than the Bears and the coaching staff that they had to offer. I'm excited to see where Kellen Mond goes. Daniel Jeremiah has him projected to go to the Broncos. That would be interesting. I like Drew Lock personally, but putting him in a situation where he could earn himself into a play now opportunity, I think Kellen Mond is ready to play now. I think if you put him in Denver, or if you put him in Las Vegas with the Raiders, or you put him with the Steelers, or you put him with the Seahawks, I think any of those situations, he's going to be worth my money right now. He's going to be a guy I'm looking to get autos of when Contenders draft picks come out, when Prism draft picks come out. Because again, if he falls to those 2nd or 3rd rounds, he's not going to have the hype around him that most of those other guys do, most of the other top 5 guys do. But man, I think he's there. I think he belongs there. I think he's NFL ready. I think he's going to have a good NFL career if the right opportunity gets him. Kellen Mond.